Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, and today I want to do a video on how to collect video games on a tight budget. You know, as a father, I understand there's only so many dollars you can allot to your hobbies. There's just things that are more important, and maybe you're wanting to get into collecting and you're new to it and you just don't have a ton of money. You know, let's be honest, it can be very expensive. And for somebody not used to it or not, from the outside coming in, and I go, wow, to amass all those games, it's got to cost a lot of money. And that's true, it can, but the goal of this video is to teach you how to do your collection and spend as little as possible. To be honest, this is only a fraction of what I have in my collection. As you see here, I have all this. I have a lot of other games and cabinets and everything, all put away that you can't even see. My goal of this video is to help you amass your game collection on the cheap. If I paid regular price for all the games that I have, I wouldn't even have probably a shelf full. Matter of fact, every game I have here has pretty much been paid for by flipping. Now this video isn't necessarily about flipping, but it's how I get games on the cheap and how to save money. Make sure you stay over to the very end of the video. Last couple tips I have can save you a lot of money, and they're tips I haven't seen mentioned anywhere on any video or any article. Also, pay attention to the very end. I'm going to do a game giveaway. I'm going to give information on how you can win a free game to help get your collection started too as well. So sit back and enjoy. Alright, for the first tip I want to let you know is know what you are buying. Now I know it sounds obvious and things, but sometimes people just rush out and they buy and they don't really know what it's going for. How are you going to know you're getting the best price unless you've researched what the market is telling you? So, I recommend starting with something like pricecharting.com just to get a rough baseline of what you're looking for. Then go to websites like eBay. Go to the left and do your search for your item, go to the left and find sold and see what the item's actually selling for. This should give you a good idea. That way when you do find what you're looking for, you're not just rushing out and paying top dollar. Now the next thing I want to mention is only keep what you want. Often I find a good way to save money is not just to buy that item individually, especially if it's a high cost item. Instead, buy it in bundles. Find somebody selling a whole lot, like a GameCube with 10 games, or a Nintendo with 15 games, or whatever, something like that. And bundling that way usually will cost you less. But on top of that then, the trick is to only keep the things you want. It's very easy to start just piling up a bunch of things, and you have to ask yourself, what do you really want? Are you really gonna play this? And then take the items out that you are not gonna keep and flip them and use that money to buy more of the things you actually want. So once again, look for bundles. And when you do buy bundles, get rid of the items you don't want to help finance the things that you do want. The next thing I want to tell you is to learn to wait. Boy, I know the excitement of that new game coming out. That's something that you've really been looking for. But remember, new game prices come down fast. You know, if you buy it on a day of release, you're paying $50, $60, $70 for the game. But usually you wait as little as a month and they've already dropped $10 to $20. So if you wait even longer, it's going to save you more money. Remember, we have backlogs of games. You're going to end up with backlog too. Why don't you play your backlog and wait for those games to become cheaper? I know it can be hard, but remember, your other games are still new to you too. So with this generation too as well, just remember, I know it's so easy to get wrapped up in the newest thing, unless you're going to be gaming with a bunch of your friends playing that particular one, which you can do by saving money in other ways. You can get that expensive game once in a while. Otherwise, I recommend just wait a little while for the excitement to come down, and the price will too. The next tip I want to say is don't collect the popular thing. It's so easy to be on the popular bandwagon, but when it's the popular thing, everything costs more money. What I do is tend to watch which generation's selling high, and then avoid that generation until it comes down. For example, the NES games were very high for a long time. They're starting to creep down a little bit. But still, right now, for example, is the best time to getting things like Xbox 360, Wii games, and PS3 games. They're all incredibly cheap. And if you plan on collecting for something like the Wii U, you might want to be getting them now, because I see those going up and up and up in the future, but I could be wrong. It usually tends to be is follow the generational pattern. For a long time, the NES was the hot generation. Look what's not expensive and focus on what's cheap so you can get more for your money. The next tip I suggest is learn how to clean and repair as much as you can. Simple cleaning of some games, like cleaning out the cartridges, will make them work. Learning how to clean a disc, cleaning a game system, especially in controllers, can save you a lot of money. For some reason, people just don't seem to take much care in cleaning their gear, and therefore, you know, it looks gross and stuff, but if you can find something that just looks like it needs a little work with a little elbow grease, you might be able to save yourself a lot of money. And the same thing goes with fixing things. It's, you know, there's a lot of people out there who just don't treat their stuff very good, and sometimes things just naturally wear out. So for example, if you were needing to replace a D-pad on an NES controller, that's really quite easy. Start with easy things you know how to do and build yourself up to more complex things. For example, I started fixing things like Nintendo controllers, easy. Putting the new pins in, easy. Then I started moving up to like PlayStation 3 controllers, which I will say with the, you know, the shoulder buttons and things, it's a little more complicated, but it's still doable. And I find that often I'll get systems with broken controllers and things like that. I can turn around and fix them and make a quick, easy flip. Or maybe eventually moving on up to replacing CD-ROM drives and things and DVD drives in the systems themselves and things like that can save you a lot of money. Taking something that would have been a piece of garbage and turning it into something good. And another little tip too, maybe you find one that's in really rough shape, but it works. And there's another one that's in good shape, but it doesn't work. Take the cases and flip the cases. Put the case on the one that does work. So now you got a nice, good, clean, good case, and you don't have to worry about the trash part. All right, this next one, you know, it surprised me more people don't do it, but don't be afraid to get an empty case. And then look for the cartridge or the disc, the CD later, for cheap. Often you can find them separate, and when you find them separate, they cost less. So if you found a really good deal, like $1 on a case that, you know, normally if you look in the case, the game complete's a really expensive thing, get the case. And then you might be able to find the disc for significantly cheaper, put them together, and you've got it complete. So once again, don't be afraid to get the empty cases or just the disc and combine them later on when you find them for a good price. The next thing I like to tell people, especially when it's not garage sale season, I hit garage sales. I recommend you do too. If you feel comfortable, hit them, you can get a good deal. But sometimes you just can't, or it's out of season. In that case, check things like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Keep an eye out. Look every day. Check right in the morning. Capture those deals quick. The sooner you hit them, the better you can grab them. So otherwise, other people will beat you to it, and they're going to get the good deals. So once again, check those things. You can even put watches on there so it alerts you and gives you a watch alert when you see those things. The next tip I have is networking. Let people know what you're looking for in case they can find a good deal for you. Now you're expanding your net of what can be found out there. So for example, I tell my brother to keep an eye out when he's going to garage sales. So if he sees any games or particular collectibles like comic books or statues, he can take a picture of it on his smartphone, show me, and I can tell him if I'm interested or not. So once again, increase your net out there by networking. Another one I want to mention is for garage sailing too. If you don't see any games or collectibles, don't be afraid to ask them. You know, I do that all the time. It's not always a hit, but sometimes they might go, hey, you know what? I do have a game system. Let me go see and I'll bring it out. You might be surprised what you find for cheap. Now, maybe you hit Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, or you're at a garage sale and you're getting items from that particular person. You're making a deal. But don't be afraid to go the extra mile. You're already meeting up with them to buy something, right? Ask them if they have any other games or systems or collectibles for sale.
No, God!
They might have had something they didn't think about, and now you can bundle that in and get that cheap too. And so you can both benefit easily. Now for those last special 2 items that I mentioned that can save you a lot of money that I don't hear anybody talking about. And the first one is this. If you're going on Facebook, Craigslist, any of those marketplaces, OfferUp, and you make a deal with somebody, there's nothing worse than making a deal, driving a half an hour or an hour or so, and they have them never show up. Oh, that infuriates me. You know, I used to have that happen once in a while. I'd even get to the point the night before, I'd say, let's confirm this, that you're going to be there. Oh, yeah, fine. I go there and they don't show up. Before, not too terribly long ago, 3 hours before. Hey, just confirming. Oh yeah, we're good. So here's the tip. Always tell them you're going to contact them 1 hour before meeting time to confirm that they're likely to be there and show up. So once again, 1 hour before meeting time, tell them, hey, and before 1 hour before we meet, I'm going to contact you. If you don't contact me back and respond, I'm not coming. I'm going to tell you, this happens more often than not, is people don't show up. It baffles me. It blows my mind. They have a deal and they don't show up. So once again, even if you made the deal, hey, we'll meet in 2 days. But on that day, I'm going to contact you 1 hour before meeting time just to confirm. If you do not respond, I am not going to make it. That's a great tip there to save you a lot of gas money, a lot of time, and a lot of frustration. All right, for the last tip, this one goes if you don't want to buy something and then find out it doesn't work. You know, there's nothing like buying an Xbox 360, a Nintendo, whatever system it is, fire it up and it doesn't work, or it sounds like a helicopter's crashing. So I'm going to give you a few tips here on how to prevent that from happening. One thing I recommend is getting a small monitor. This thing will take an input HD. I then have a little converter box that can convert, so I can pretty much test any machine and have this little monitor that doesn't take a lot of power. Now, yes, you do have to power these. So there's a couple ways to do this. I just use a little battery power connector, something like this. I have a bigger one too that's going to last even longer, and you plug it in this and it's going to power this. Or you can go with another solution because you're going to go, wait a minute, you got to power the console, right? There's a couple ways, as I said. You can also power the console too as well by plugging in an adapter into your vehicle, usually like in the cigarette lighter, and have the adapter that's going to have your plugins for that console. So now you can plug your console in, plug it into your battery powered monitor, and then you can test that console. Now, if you're like me and I do a lot of deals, I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible and have a nice setup. So what I do is I can use my little monitor, or if I even want, I can bring a small TV. Now what I then will do is I will bring something like this. I know it's big, but hey, it's a big power inverter. This hooks on. You can hook the ends to a battery. I use a marine battery, and you hook that up. It's got an output for DC, and now I can plug in anything I need, any console, no matter what kind of console. I can run it to a small TV if I want to, and power up everything without having to plug into my car and use its power as well. So this is another option, but the main thing is make sure you have a setup. If you need some ideas for a setup, feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and I'll give you some tips on how you can do it too to set it up so you have power and can test all kinds of items, any electronic items, before you buy. Because there's nothing more frustrating than getting it and it doesn't work. Now hey, I hope you stuck around for the giveaway. Now, as I said, I try to keep things on the cheap, so don't expect anything super expensive, but if you want a free game to help you with your collection, here's how you can join up for the giveaway. Very simple, only US people though, okay? I'm sorry, shipping is very expensive. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment below that you're interested in the giveaway. And then I'm going to contact a random person from there and send you a free game. So once again, like, subscribe, leave a comment below that you're interested in the free game giveaway, and I'll randomly select somebody and send you a free game. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you have any tips too that I didn't mention, please feel free to share them below too, because I think all of us in the community would love to hear it. Thank you for your time, and until next time, keep it frugal.